In today's vlog, I will be talking about role goals, specifically what an outcome is, some tips when creating outcomes, why you should be focusing on activities that are related to those outcomes, and finally ending with some examples. Stay tuned. On the Other Hand presents Rise, where I, Jeremy Quintanilla, share the tips and strategies that I use as I rise in my career, rise in my community, and rise in my life. Before we get started, go ahead and hit the subscribe icon right here. Also, if you could hit the thumbs up icon for this video, having more likes really helps get this video in front of more people, so I would really appreciate that. Also, if you could tell me what you like and don't like in the comments box below, it'll really help me make better videos going forward or keep doing some of the stuff that you like, so I'd really appreciate that. Let's get started. You should know what your natural roles are going to be, you should know what your other roles are going to be, and you should have role statements created for each of those roles. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, go ahead to the description below and there's going to be links that'll take you to Know Your Role Part 1, 2, 3, and 4. At the end of this video, there's also going to be quick access to Know Your Role Part 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's create some role goals. The goal of your role is called the outcome. What you want the end to look like. Always begin with the end in mind. I'm going to say it one more time. Always begin with the end in mind. Now, your outcome needs to be measurable, which means it needs to be quantitative. Let's cut to an LTLL moment. LTLL, learn to love learning. Quantitative, measured by quantity. Since quantitative means measured by quantity, it's important that you have a number within your outcome that you can measure. For example, if I wanted to lose 5 pounds in a month, if I wanted to run 5 miles every week, if I wanted to raise $100, if I wanted to read 20 minutes a day, these can all be measured because they are a number. They're all measured based off of quantity, which is quantitative. You want to have something that's quantitative because it'll help you measure your success. You want to make sure that you are keeping the outcomes realistic, that you're keeping them simple and sweet. The outcome needs to be attainable, and a realistic outcome is attainable. For example, if I wanted to lose weight, I wouldn't set my goal to lose 100 pounds in 1 month. I probably wouldn't even set my goal to lose 20 pounds in 1 month. The reason being is the average person should lose 1 to 2 pounds a week to help them continue to lose weight and to keep that weight off. This would be realistic, and it's simple, and because it's simple and realistic, it's going to be attainable. Never have more than 3 outcomes per goal. This is very important because, again, you want to make sure that these outcomes are attainable. If you have, say, 10 things that you want to focus on for that role and you make 10 outcomes, this may make you feel overwhelmed. The other reason why it may make you feel overwhelmed is because with each outcome, we're going to have to set activities up that are going to help us reach that outcome. So when you're looking at all of this, you may feel overwhelmed, and if you feel overwhelmed, you're not going to attain your outcome. Once you have the outcomes created for your roles, then what you're going to do for each outcome is set up what the activities are going to look like that are going to help you reach that outcome. This is how you actually create roll goals. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of mine. To do that, we're going to switch over to my computer. You will want to find a way to keep organized. In the past, when I make goal decks, I usually used Google Slides. I have recently started a subscription with Microsoft Office. For today, I'm going to use Microsoft PowerPoint. Again, you want to do whatever works best for you. I like using the slide decks because it keeps everything nice and organized for me. I am going to choose Quotable. I typically use just the pre-made templates, mainly because it's simpler. Now, whenever I'm making these decks, I usually roll the roll statements and the roll outcomes or roll goals into my yearly deck or my quarterly deck or my monthly deck. But for the purposes of this, I'm going to focus on my rolls just until the end of the year. And I'm only going to focus on 2 rolls. I'm going to focus on the educator role and the junior achievement board member role. All right, let's go ahead and add a new slide. The first role that I'm going to focus on is going to be educator. All right. Now we want to make sure that we have our role statement for educator, because that's going to help drive what type of outcomes that we're going to have for that specific role goal. My educator role statement is to make the world a better place by creating creative content and instruction that increases So the role statement is make the world a better place by creating creative content and instruction that increases financial literacy, work readiness, and business acumen. So on the second portion of this slide, I'm going to have my outcomes and activities. So the first outcome that I want to focus on is to teach 4 hands-on banking courses by the end of the year. The hands-on banking courses is something that the financial institution that I work for creates that allows us to go out into the community and increase financial literacy. All right, now that's the outcome. So that's the end result. What I want to do is I want to find what activities are going to help me reach that outcome. So the first activity that I have in mind is to be on the monthly financial education committee call. So once a month, we have what's called the Financial Education Committee call for the Financial Education Committee, which I am a part of. And the reason why I want to be on that, because if I'm on it every month, I'm going to learn about new opportunities that are coming up that will allow me to teach hands-on banking. And I want to make sure that I hear about them so that I can volunteer to teach those courses. Now, the second activity that's going to help me do that is to reach out to my contact at the United Way. So the United Way, one of their main focuses is increasing financial literacy, and I've worked with I've worked with the United Way in the past, and I've helped them with financial literacy. So I'm going to reach out to my contact at the United Way, and I'm going to reach out to them once a month for the rest of the year. And the day that I've decided, because we want these goals to be time-bound, is the day that I've decided to reach out to them is on the 28th of each month. So reach out to my contact at the United Way monthly on the 28th of each month. So now that activity actually has a time that I need to have that activity completed by every month, which will keep me on track to teach 4 hands-on banking courses by the end of the year. So those are the 2 activities for that one outcome. But I have one more outcome that I would like to focus on. Excuse me. And that one outcome other outcome as an educator is to get an adjunct faculty job at Rio Salado Community College. So the first activity that I want to focus on is to update my resume by October 1st. And the second activity that I want to focus on to achieve that outcome is to reach out to the business department head. Her name's Gina Pinch. She's the faculty chair. So reach out. All right, and I want to do that by October 12th. So if I get my resume updated by October 1st, I can submit my resume, and then by October 12th, I'll reach out to the faculty chair and introduce myself. And that'll help me get an adjunct faculty job at Rio Salado Community College, which essentially is a part-time teaching job where you're not a full-time faculty member. So that's for my role for educator. So let's go ahead and add a new slide. And this is going to be for my Junior Achievement Board member role. I always start with the role statement. And the role statement that I have for my JA board member is to be active with the organization through committee involvement, volunteerism, and donations. Set myself apart with how involved I am by focusing on the organization's success. Now, for the outcomes and activities. So the first outcome that I have, for this one I have 3, but for the first outcome is to find 3 new sponsors for the JA Stock Market Challenge. And the JA Stock Market Challenge is a challenge that takes place every year where high school students and people that are volunteering meet with the high school students and they pick stocks, and there's a simulated stock market that the teams of the high school students compete with. And so I'm on that committee for that to raise sponsorships. So rather than focusing on an actual dollar amount goal for the sponsorships, I really want to find 3 new sponsors for the JA Stock Market Challenge. And to help do that, I'm going to reach out to 3 new people every week And I'm going to reach back out to old contacts every 7 days from the first contact until I get a yes or no answer. Then the other outcome is one junior achievement class per semester, and that can be either myself teaching it, myself and one of my other team members teaching it, or two of my other team members teaching it. But for me and my store's location, I would like to make sure that we are doing one junior achievement class per semester. So the outcomes that I want to focus on for that is I would like to reach out to Sandra, who's my contact at JA, reach out to Sandra to see if there is a school close by, because the school that I use currently is in downtown Phoenix, and I'm in an Arcadia, the Arcadia area, which is in it's not North Phoenix, but it's right off of Scottsdale, which is the east side of the metropolitan area. So I want to reach out to Sandra to see if there is a school close by, and then I would for something that's specific, that's time bound, I would like to set up the first session by October 1st. All right. Now I have one more outcome. One store manager, BizTown. Now BizTown is where you get children to come into the junior achievement location, and they essentially run a town for the day. So I want all the store managers for the financial institution that I work for to go and partake in that event. So I'm going to reach out to my contact at JA to find out the information by September 12th to find out what date we might be able to go. And then I'm going to find out from my boss what day would be best for him. All right. So those are the outcomes and activities for my JA board member role. So you want to go ahead and do that with all of your roles. Make sure you have your role statement on there so you can focus on what type of outcomes are part of that statement. And then you want to build activities for that, and then you're going to focus on completing those activities, and that is how you reach those outcomes or those goals. Thank you again for staying with me this time through this. This is my first screen capture. So I hope that you enjoyed it, and we will see you next time.